Apple's favorite buzzword is 2030 because they're talking about something carbon emissions, something recyclable iPhone parts.
I don't know.
And I was like, dog, I do not want my iPhone to be recycled. I'm paying you over $1,000 for this phone. It better have new stuff in it. I don't want it to be part of a Coke can that somebody threw in the recycling bin 6 years ago. Frick them turtles, man.
Dang.
They'll be fine.
Hello and welcome to the Nerdiest podcast, where nerds talk about nerdy things. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Jackson Glass, and today we're here doing a deep dive, a breakdown on why do kids' movies suck now? Why do family movies suck? What happened? Because we grew up with some of the greatest family-friendly movies of all time, and now they're just kind of the worst. So we're going to get into that. We're also talking about the Minecraft movie trailer and the controversy around that, PS5, Sonic 3, all that stuff that we're going to get into here in just a minute. But I got to take this opportunity to tell you that if you're not following us on Instagram at The Nerdiest Podcast, you're missing out for important updates. And also, you can follow us on YouTube at The Nerdiest Podcast to watch video versions of this show so you can see our beautiful faces. Also, if you want to support the show, you can go to thenerdiestpodcast.com and buy our very exclusive special merch. And that helps us support the show. And also, if that's not enough, you can join the Nerdiest Aftershow as a Spotify subscriber and listen to our monthly movie club. Now, with that out of the way, I'm here with my co-host, my ride or die, Mr. Nick Barrett. Tell me how you're doing, Mr. Nick, today.
I'm doing pretty good. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to cancel my Streamlabs subscription before I forget. Because I was gonna try it out, and then I don't like it. So I need to get off of Ultra. But I'll figure that out later because it's $20 a month, and I'm like, no, thank you.
Ew.
I mean, it was worth a shot. It was worth trying because that's how you get like the alert box and everything that pops up. But it just bogged down my computer way too much. So now I'm going to do back-end stuff and figure out how to get all that in OBS because you can. And I also like the interface with OBS a lot more. So, speaking of, how have I been? Well, could have been better. This week was really exhausting. I stayed up way too late. Stayed up way past my bedtime. You can probably hear it and see it on my face. My allergies were killing me yesterday, which was not great. But since last episode, I'll throw a picture on screen, even though I usually don't like throwing pictures on screen. I went out and bought the Lego Deku Tree set, and it's fully built. It's on my TV stand over here. It's a shame because you can't see it here, and you also can't see it when I record videos like for Nick with No K, because the angle, like, it's like just outside the angle. So I'll put a picture on screen because it looks really sick. It was a nice build. It was expensive. It was an expense that I did not plan on making. So now I'm $330 in the hole. But it's okay because I got paid this week. So money's not real.
Let's go. Yeah, same.
So I got that. Done a lot of recording and stuff for Nick with No K. Lots of YouTube shorts, lots of videos, lots of great stuff coming down the pipeline.
Oh shoot!
And then I realized today I need a new ring light.
Oh,
so
fun.
The expenses just continue, and they continue to compound. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've done. I don't think so. It's just been a really tiring week. I'm back to counseling, which is great. I went into counseling this week.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and my therapist was like, Nick, you look awful. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, I can see the bags under your eyes from all the way over here.
Start.
And I was like, well, it's been a week. It's been a long week, okay?
To a counseling session.
No.
You look awful.
You look awful. I'm like, well, thank you for the positive reinforcement.
Your job, ma'am.
Makes me feel a lot better.
What does that say about you?
So that's all I got. I am, and we'll talk about
Wow.
it here in a second. The Sonic 3 trailer. I'm so mad because they dropped the trailer like right after we recorded the last episode.
Yes.
I was like,
and we
man.
were pre-recording. Yeah.
We could have talked about it because I think
Yeah.
I talked about it in that trailer, or not in the trailer, in the episode. I talked something about it, and then the trailer came out, and then I could say stuff. So we'll talk about that later.
That's rough,
But
buddy. That's rough, buddy.
Jackson, how have you been? What you been up
Honestly,
to? I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever.
No, I feel like we haven't talked in forever, and I can honestly say I have not been doing anything worth talking about. I genuinely have just been doing school and work. Like, I feel like, which is kind of funny, I feel like I'm at work more than I'm at school, which is hilarious. But it's just like, it's my busy semester, it's my junior year, and so it's kind of like, you know, we're going to be on the grind, and I have like 2-3 hour classes, and so it's just like taking all that time. And so if you follow me on YouTube, that's why it's been pretty quiet, because I'm in class all morning and then at work all afternoon, and then, you know, trying to make time with the fiance, which here's your little wedding update.
Oh, here we go.
Today, I know you've been foaming at the mouth for a wedding update. We're working on our save the dates right now. That's exciting. I think we're going to finalize that today. And then we tried another caterer, and I think we're going to go with it. It's Italian food. And listen, I don't know if I even said this, but we had a caterer that we really liked, and we tried them. And it was like some of the best steak I've ever had in my life. Like phenomenal. And we were like, all right, we're just going to taste all this food, whatever. And we were like, delicious, love it, phenomenal, let's do it. And then like the quote came back, and the price was more than our venue cost. And it was like, on what planet am I paying this for? And it wasn't even enough food. I'm dead serious. Like, we would have had to add. And so we're like, well, back to the drawing board.
Here's a
on
question.
that one. So
When,
yeah.
as someone who's not engaged, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to pay to go sample food, or do they just like you make an appointment and they give you free
So,
food for you to
here's the
sample?
thing.
Like,
We've
is
talked
that the
about
life
this.
hack of I'm just going to continue? Like, dude, hold on. Depending on your answer, it might shut down this entire idea. But could you imagine like a really low budget rom-com where these like two single people are like, food's a little too expensive. So what if we masqueraded as a married couple to go get food for free by sampling them at all of these different...
This is such a good idea.
If next
I would
year,
watch the mess out of that.
If you find a low budget rom-com that has that plot, you heard it here first, because it
You
wouldn't be
heard
the
it
first
here
time
first.
Hollywood has stolen a movie idea from us.
see, here's the thing. I feel like we could easily make that too. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility. Casting call for that. So essentially, it depends on the place. So the first place we tried that was like stupid expensive, they charged like it was like $50 a person. Not 50. That's extreme. I'm trying to remember. I think it was like $25 a person. So it was $25 a person. And then we sampled all this food, which honestly, like, for the food we got, it was worth $25.
Right.
But the place that we actually went, they gave us 3 times the food, and it was free. So, and we were bringing this up. We were like, hey, do we need to pay? And they were like, no, I think your tasting's free. And what's interesting about their business model is essentially they are banking on you booking them. They are confident enough in their products that they know they can take that loss so that you're more likely to book.
Right.
So, because, like, I mean, we tried, like, chicken pasta. We tried a crab dip. We had, like, shrimp stuffed mushrooms. No, It was a shrimp dip and crab stuffed mushrooms. We tried the tiramisu. We tried their asparagus, like all this stuff, and we just didn't pay. And so I was like, low key, yeah, we need to try more. Say Friday night, if you guys are available. I really need to try more. Can I just have one of everything, actually? And then when we were leaving, they were like, do you want any of this in to-go boxes? And I was like, are you kidding me? This is such a cheat code. Sometimes, do you ever have this moment where you're like, if I was a bad person, I would be really good at being a bad person.
Yes,
you know,
all the time.
Does that make sense?
All the time.
Sometimes I look in myself and I'm like, if I was evil, I would be really good at being evil. And that's a little scary because I'm mean. I'm a mean person. Like I have to restrain myself. I think I could be a lot meaner than I am, and some people don't appreciate that. So anyway, that's our wedding update. Save the dates are going out.
And
I'm working on a couple
viewer
things.
Is going to get one.
You get one. You get one. We're flying you all down, just like Father of the Bride.
No,
so
that's not in the podcast budget, by the way.
No.
We couldn't even
so
afford
that's why
one plane ticket.
If you subscribe to the Nerdiest After Show, you can come to my wedding.
You'll get a personal invite. That's when we hit like all the way up, max out the subscriptions.
Guys, that's a joke. Do not do that.
No, do that.
Do subscribe, but you will not get an invitation.
There's 4 people in there now.
Guys, shout out to our 4 subscribers. You guys are awesome. And so there's that. I'm kind of working on a couple of random things now that the semester's kind of like chilling out and it's like in some consistency now. We're working on our next EP, which I'm really excited about. If you listen to Jackson Glass on Spotify, next EP coming out soon. I just finished a script for a new short film.
And you haven't told me yet?
I know. We legitimately have not spoken in so long.
This is true.
You're
right.
It's bonkers. I also I wanted to finish it, have a final thing before I showed you.
That makes sense.
That's crazy. I cannot believe I didn't send you that. Holy crap. All right.
I mean, I feel like we've been talking about other important things this week.
Right. We've been very preoccupied.
I've had a lot of things to talk about.
I want to not live through a major life event for 1 month, please. Thank you.
No. You're so real for that. I'm in the same boat, dog.
Yeah. Anyway, this is when you're in your 20s, it's character development time, There's going to be some afflictions, guys, but stay strong. Jesus, man. So, anyway, that's what I've been up to. I think it's time to get into some news. We need a news drop really bad.
Wicca wicca wow. News time.
That's it. I love it. All right. Wicca wicca wow. News time. Nick, what's our first headline?
That's it. That's it.
Wicca wicca wow. News time.
We don't have a lot, and the last one's going to segue us into our main topic. But the first one is, have you, sir, heard anything about the PlayStation 5 Pro?
I have heard a little bit and nothing good.
Okay. So
that's kind of where I'm at.
Let me hit you with some context here.
Yeah.
The PlayStation 5 Pro was announced this week by Sony, the people who make PlayStation.
Right.
And they said a lot of stuff and things. And that stuff and things were good-ish, kind of.
Question mark?
So essentially they announced it. It's like this new powerful console that has all of these things: better GPU, ray tracing, AI-driven upscaling, which of course everyone heard the 2 letters A and I put together and collectively had a freak out and started freaking out, not understanding that AI-driven upscaling in video games has been a thing for a decent amount of time now.
Right.
And it's not the same as the generative AI that we're talking. Guys, I could get on let me get on a soapbox for a second here. Not all AI is the same. Okay? Not all AI is the super evil generative AI. Google's an AI. You play against AI in video games when you're playing a single player game. You play even in Fortnite, you're playing against bots. That's AI. AI can help upscale things without replacing people's jobs. Like, it's not this all evil, all encompassing thing. Anyway,
can we also, like, if I could step up on the soapbox with you, AI has become the buzzword, and so, like, algorithms that we've been using for 20 years are now AI, and now they're bad because they're labeled
like
as AI. Right. And it's like, hey, how do you think Google works? How do you think, when you play the Wii and you're playing the Wii Play Tanks game, you know those tanks? Those are AI. Oh, no, please. They're going to eat my children. And it's kind of like, dude, an algorithm is not inherently an AI, but it can be. So stop pretending this is like the end all be all, the world is ending, because like we've been using this forever. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, it came out. I don't know what the size difference is between the PS5 Pro and the PS5, but the big thing that's gotten everybody a little upset, is the price, because the current PS5 is $500. Right? You can get your digital version. Actually, I'm gonna fact check myself real quick.
Even then, $500 feels like
let me just go to
lot.
Walmart, because I have a caveat that I'm gonna add, but I want to double
when
check.
When you said let me just go to Walmart, I expected you to just get up and like get in your car.
No.
Let me just go to Walmart.
So there's the PS5 Slim digital or disc version is $489 at Walmart.
Okay.
So, and that's the Slim version. So like $500 roughly for a PS5 with a disc drive. A little cheaper if you want to do the digital, because they got to take off the price of what would be the disc drive, right? So,
right.
PS5 Pro comes out. Base price is $700. Now, it gets worse, because that does not include the vertical stand or a disc drive. The vertical stand of which is $30. And the disc drive is $80. So if you want your PS5 Pro to stand up straight and have a disc drive to play your physical games, it's going to cost you over $800 plus tax.
I'm getting flashbacks to the Apple cheese grater computer. Like,
yes, it is
this feels like a
incredibly
scam.
tone deaf, because it's over 1,000. Like, if you think that's bad in USD, it's even worse when you try to convert it to euros and Canadian and the yen. Like, it's terrible.
Which is where so much of their markets are pulling from.
Exactly.
And so
it's
that's
a scam.
Yikes.
It's no one has been able to tell a substantial difference in power or playback between the base PS5 or even the PS4 Pro and the PS5 Pro, which also makes it feel like a scam, because this is $200 extra, and for what? Like, for what? And I was talking to one of my friends this week who's a big PC gamer, and we talked about this, and he was like, if you're going to spend $800, close to $900 after tax to get all of this, you might as well just get a pre-built PC.
Right.
And have way better specs.
Possibilities.
Infinite possibilities to continually upgrade. And sure, you're losing out on PlayStation exclusives, but some of them are starting to come to PC anyway. And yeah, exactly. Like what? Like the 5 exclusive games they have on PS5 because they keep putting everything on the PS4?
Yeah.
Because the PS5 still hasn't attached on. We're halfway through the PS5 life cycle, by the way. We're 4 years into the PS5, and it still is not selling as well as they want it to, which is why the PS5 Pro exists, because they're like, okay, well, the Switch is still beating us basically every month, and that's an 8-year-old console, and Nintendo's talking about announcing their new console. $700 PS5 Pro, buy it now.
It's like
No disk drive, no vertical stand. It's a very Apple type move because when the PS5 came out, it had a disk drive, had a vertical stand included. The Slim came out, no more disk drive. PS5 Pro comes out, no more disk drive, no more vertical stand. Which also is encouraging this, like, let's move to all digital. And I'm like, no, I don't like that.
No. Well, there's also, like, I'm trying to find the market for this because, you know, at least they had this conversation when the OLED Switch came out because they were like, well, I already have a Switch. And it's like, but there is a very quantifiable upgrade for the OLED model. It's like a little faster and has a bigger screen and it has the LAN port in the dock. Like, that's like, and they were kind of like, hey, this is what you're paying for if you want to upgrade. Yep. And you can decide to upgrade or not. Where this is more like, hey, this is the PS5 Pro and it has less features. Enjoy. And it's like,
it can do less for more.
On what is the shrinkflation of the PlayStation right now? And also, like, what can a PS5 not do that you are missing?
Have exclusives. But you can't fix that with a PS5 Pro, so...
That's what I'm saying. Like, why? Like, if you own a PS5, what can the PS5 not do that you want? Or are they just banking on, like, tech reviewers to buy all the PS5 Pros?
I don't even think the tech reviewers are going to buy it.
They don't even... They're like...
Because the tech reviewers aren't sold. Because they...
Right.
So Sony, as far as I've heard, because I watched a video talking about it, and Sony only let one outlet come in and do any kind of hands-on with the PS5 Pro.
Okay.
And it wasn't even like a tech specialist company who would analyze all of the, like, the technical, the hardware side of it and say, here's what it can do, here's what it can't do. Now, the person who went for this outlet came out and said they wouldn't let me point the camera at the screen for more than like 5 seconds, and I never saw a PS5 anywhere on set.
Whoa.
Which has people a little sussed out of, like, if you're so confident in this console being the next big thing, why can't you do that? Is it just a normal PS5 back there and you've been duped into or is it like a really high-end PC that you're playing on? Like, I don't know, man. It's just...
Yeah.
It's not great. And I'm not here to, like, dunk on PlayStation, but also... All you Sony fans, like, justify this to me. If you're a Sony fan, justify this to me if you think it's justifiable. Because to your point, the OLED, a lot of people were like, well, I already have a Switch. Like, I don't need a nicer screen, da-da-da-da-da. But that was a quantifiable value proposition for it's just $50 more. It's not like they were jumping up to $400 or $500. It was, we need an extra $50. You get a new color of Joy-Con that we've never done before. If you get the white one, you get a better dock, you get a LAN port, a better kickstand, better sound, and a bigger and nicer looking screen. And it's going to be great. And
$50.
All that for $50. And that's all we're asking. And you can still play all the great same Switch games, and they're just going to look nicer, and it's going to be great. And then PlayStation's like, all right, $200 more, and you can play none of the exclusives we have, and they'll look exactly the same as they do on PS5.
No physicality.
And they all have to be digital. Which what sucks is, like, if you're thinking about upgrading from a base PS5 with the disc drive, to a PS5 Pro, now that's more expensive for you than if you have the all digital. So it's like kind of screwing over the people who want to buy physical. Of like, okay, well, now I'm looking at tacking on all of this extra stuff when you could have just... And supposedly the current vertical stand and disk drive are not compatible with the PS5 Pro.
Of course
Which
they're
means
not.
you can't
Of
just
course
take
they're
your
not.
disk drive off and put it on the new thing. You have to buy a new one. Sony
why
is the
everyone's-
Apple of gaming, dog.
This is why everyone still just uses their PS4s. Because it's like fully backwards compatible. And there's some PS5 games you can play on PS4. So,
Persona
like,
3 Reload is technically a PS5 game that has a PS4 version because the PS5 just... There's not an install base there to justify not putting games on PS4.
Yeah.
Because there's so many PS4s and not enough PS5s.
Yeah.
And it's a terrible situation.
We'll move on in a second. I think there could also be some kind of like an Android type dilemma here where Android upgrades their models so quickly that they have to do this bonkers backwards compatibility where like Android still supports their software from like something crazy like 9-10 years ago.
Good for them.
Because they have to, because it's like people are still using it. Where Apple, like, they do like 2-year cycles where it's like if your iPhone is like, 2, 4, whatever years old, you need a new one.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to support it anymore. And it's just like, at what point do we start to see through the tech companies that are just kind of milking us and just have enough and not buy?
Yeah. I think another
So, I
issue
don't know.
is, and I'll say this as a Nintendo fan, Nintendo is not competition in this specific market. In the gaming
No.
sphere, absolutely. But when you
Yeah.
get down to the PS5 Pro is a power thing.
Yeah.
It's not about the games. It's about the power.
No.
And that's not where Nintendo's trying to compete, and that's brought them a lot of great success of just let's have games. That's why PlayStation fans get so mad. Because Nintendo fans are like, we just have games. Like,
yeah.
Nintendo Switch has games, and we have games to
Right.
play, and you guys are like buying the 4th remaster of The Last of Us Part 2 because they don't have anything else to give you. They gave you Spider-Man
Right.
2 last year, and you get nothing this year because they have nothing to give you, and it's really stupid. But if Xbox doesn't shape up, this is going to get worse.
Yeah.
Because if there is no direct competition in this sphere, then PlayStation is just going to keep jacking up the price, and it's going to go up and up and up, and people are going to buy it because it's the only like most
The only other
powerful
option.
console
That's not a PC.
that's not a PC. And a lot of
Yeah.
people don't want a PC. Like that's what I don't have
I
a
don't
PC
want a PC.
because I don't have the space for it. But also
Right.
I like the Apple stuff that I have, but also I just want to sit down on the TV and play something. So
Right.
it's like, which is why I
Also-
think the Switch 2 will be really good because they now have the Steam Deck in that sphere. So it's like, okay, the Steam Deck's only $50 more, or it's the same price as the Switch OLED.
It's pretty dang powerful.
And it's pretty powerful and can play pretty much every Steam game. So you
Yeah.
got to step it up and like continue to be competitive in that market. And if we lose Xbox, PlayStation's going to go off the rails.
Right. And honestly, like as an Xbox, like I grew up on Xbox. That makes me really sad. Like to think about like Xbox just going in the toilet makes me really sad, honestly. And I don't want to see that from them. So, I don't know. I think we'll be following this narrative pretty closely as we continue on. There's also some kind of Apple event.
Okay, so
that
Apple...
I don't know about.
Did you not watch
so-
the Apple event?
Absolutely not.
Okay, Apple did their event. Let me give you some highlights. They talked about headphones.
Okay.
They talked
Oh,
about a
I
lot
saw
of
the-
different headphones.
I saw the like AirPod Pro thing is like they're re-releasing it with a USB-C cable
I guess so.
or something like that. I don't freaking know.
There's that. They're upgrading Siri, which is great because she's not super helpful
Siri
anyway.
sucks.
Well, I'm not going to say that because I want to respect our AI overlords when they take over and they become sentient.
no.
That's what saved Will Smith in the movie I, Robot.
No, you're so right.
Or so I've been told, because I've never seen that movie. Anyway, in the AirPods, the only thing I want to highlight, because I think it's going to look really stupid, is they've implemented this new feature that when the AirPods are in your ear, it can detect the motion of your head. So if you get a call, Siri will pop up and say, hey, call from Jackson. And if I don't want to answer, I can just shake my head no, and it'll hang up. And I can shake my head yes, and it'll answer. So here's the funny thing, is I feel like, much like Siri, this is not going to work the way it's advertised.
No.
Because when I get a call, I'm going to go like this, and she's not going to know. Because there's like, you have to have it calibrated for the normal movement of people's head.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm going to turn and look over here. Oh, no, I'm going to turn and look over here. Oh, well, that doesn't count as a no, and it doesn't count as a yes. So I just can't wait to see people on the street going, or
just like shaking like a dog out of the bath.
Yeah, like you got to get it turned on.
That's such a... Apple loves to throw the dumbest features imaginable in their stuff and act like they cooked.
Yo, that literally was the entire presentation. I was talking to my friends on Discord, and we were like, one of them was like, oh, the Apple event's about to start. And I was like, every Apple event is Apple making the same thing, slightly changing it, marking it up double the price, and saying, look what we've done. And that was the entire event.
It's so funny, too, because their new iOS is going to affect the way that you text other... So, like, you know how when you text an Android phone, it gets the green bubble?
Yeah, they're fixing that.
The new iOS, they're fixing that. And they're, like, changing it, and you can do read receipts and stuff. And they're like, we're changing the way that you message. And it's like, you're the only one that hasn't been doing this for, like, ever.
Yeah. That's not on you guys. That's not.
You're not like the other girls.
You're the guys who didn't want to play nice here.
Right.
Like, Samsung called you out and was like, we're really tired of discrimination against green texts.
Right. Foul.
Which is a problem, because every time I text...
Right.
Listen, I'm just sick of every time you add a non-Apple user to a group chat, it like locks that group chat and you can't change anything about it. And I'm like, dude, it's 2024. Get over yourself. People are not going to not buy an iPhone because they can text people on Samsung now.
Well, it's so funny because my dad, he tried one of the new Samsung, like the flip phones. And he was like, he just did it as an experiment. He said, I'm going to use it. I'm just going to use it for its life cycle. So I'm going to have it for like 3-4 years. And then, you know, then probably go back to iPhone. He just wanted to try it. And the screen literally does not work 3 out of 4 times he tries to open it. So he'll flip it open, touch it, nothing happens, close it, open, tries to touch it, nothing happens, close, open, and then it works. And I'm like, dog, get an iPhone. This is not worth it.
That's so lame.
And he said, you know, he's like, I really, really wanted this to last longer than like a year, but I guess that's why Apple's on top. And I was just like,
here's the thing.
Cringe.
This Apple presentation has never made me want to buy a Samsung phone more. Because, and I say that because they talked a lot about integrating Apple Intelligence into the iPhone 16.
Yeah.
Which is like this Apple AI that is, they're like, your data is protected when you search, but you can reach a wider net to search. And I'm like, that's not how, what? That's not how that works. I can't, what? Huh? You're telling me
what
like,
I will say,
my search is here and I can expand it out to here, but I'm still,
but it's safe, but it's still safe.
And they're like, and we're going to keep it in a super secure database that's never going to get hacked and it's going to be safe. And I'm like, dog, someone stole everyone's social security numbers like a month ago. Don't tell me that my information is going to be safe. I don't believe you for a lick of a second.
What I will say is that Apple has consistently had the tightest user agreement. And so, like, they don't even give over, like, passcodes to the FBI. Because it's part of their user agreement. They're like, no, that goes against our user agreement. We can't. So Apple is probably the securest of the big tech, but also no one's susceptible. Like,
Right.
or everyone's susceptible to cybercrime. So, like, you can't promise that, but also you can't promise that on any phone. So it's kind of like, well, we're just kind of living in this eternal cybercrime where we're constantly changing our passwords, but that's kind of whatever.
The big thing with the iPhone 16, though, aside from the Apple Intelligence, was they've added a new button on the side.
Oh.
So, like, this is my phone, right?
Yeah.
They've added a new button here. So when you're
Why?
using the camera, you can now, like, go like this
Oh.
to have a digital scroll wheel instead of having to, like, pinch and zoom. So you can go like that and zoom in, and you can take your picture from here, too. So it's kind of making it feel more like a normal camera.
Mm-hmm.
But what's so stupid is there's the iPhone 16, which has the two cameras, like mine. And it has this little button, and it doesn't make any sense. And it's the only thing they've added.
Mm-hmm.
The iPhone 16 Pro, though, we're actually considering getting one at work.
Yeah.
Because the camera on it is insanely good.
Yeah.
And if you can rig it out with all of the camera equipment and stuff and like turn it into an actual rig, it would be cheaper than us trying to buy like a Sony A7 III.
Right.
So we are considering getting one of those at work, and the little scroll wheel is really cool.
Yeah.
So I'll give them props for that. Other than that, Apple's favorite buzzword is 2030 because they're talking about something carbon emissions, something recyclable iPhone parts.
I don't know.
And I was like, dog, I do not want my iPhone to be recycled. I'm paying you over $1,000 for this phone. It better have new stuff in it. I don't want it to be part of a Coke can that somebody threw in the recycling bin 6 years ago.
Oh.
For $1,000, get out of here. Frick them turtles, man.
Dang.
They'll be fine. Just make
Dang.
my iPhone like an
Dang.
iPhone.
Make it
Anyway,
work. I just want it to work. Anyway,
now that we're out of the
moving more
big
into
tech section of the
mooring into the
podcast.
movie sphere. Sonic
Sonic!
3 trailer.
Looks really good.
This looks really good. It
Keanu
looks
Reeves'
quite good.
shadow.
Keanu
How do you feel?
Reeves. Dude, I'm so ready. I'm so excited.
I like how
love
that's
the,
what gets him into the Sonic movie.
No, for real.
Keanu.
The John Wick Twitter account posted the picture, and it was like, I don't even remember what it said, but it's like he lurks in the shadows. And it was like right after the Sonic 3 trailer. And I was just like, we're so back. We are so back. This legitimately might be one of the best movies of the year. Like, unironically. Because we also like, what's its competition? Like,
you're
to
right.
be
No,
so
you're right.
freaking
You're right.
for real. The only movies this year that I've actually really liked are like The Fall Guy and Deadpool. And maybe If. But even then, that's kind of just like a fun movie. So it's kind of like Sonic 3 could be baller because the other two are great. Like,
It's been a rough
unironically
year
phenomenal.
for movies, man.
But like, honestly, the other two are phenomenal. So, you
What
know,
was to say? I don't have much to say about Sonic just because
I
the
don't
trailer
either.
came out so long ago. And by
Yeah.
so long ago, I mean 2 weeks ago.
that's how the
Um,
cycles work.
Yeah. But it looks good. I'm really excited. Everyone was like starting to panic because we were less than 4 months away from the movie and we still hadn't gotten a trailer. And I was like,
Yeah.
tout was for the last
Let
movie,
them
though.
cook.
Like, they have no need to start marketing until 4 months before because then it can hit all of the big fall movies that are in theaters and you get your trailer run up and it's going to be fine.
Yep. Also,
So-
if you put your trailer out like a year before, people forget.
Exactly.
So-
Nobody remembers. They're like, oh, we have a trailer for this already? Oh, okay.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, that's exciting. Our next point will transition into a bigger point. Guys, something that I've been waiting for over 10 years has happened. And they are finally making a Minecraft movie. Now, I know what you're thinking. A Minecraft movie? Yes, that is the official title, is a Minecraft movie. If you have not seen the teaser trailer, I highly recommend you go watch it. But also, if you value your sanity or joy, don't watch it.
Or love Minecraft in any way,
Or
shape,
love
or form.
Minecraft in any way, shape, or form. Do not
Don't.
watch it. Essentially, what has happened is Warner Brothers, who constantly loves to shoot themselves in the foot constantly, decided that Minecraft, you know what would make a great Minecraft movie? Jack Black as Jack Black.
As Steve.
Essentially, as Steve. And Jason Momoa in a Party City blonde wig.
Looking like Dora the Explorer.
Looking like freaking Dora the Explorer tried to audition for Barbie. On a green screen vomit mess is what we would want out of a Minecraft movie. And I can see the Warner Brothers executives being like, oh, you know what we should do? This. Because it's worked so many times. Warner Brothers literally has a freaking animation group. One that's very good, by the way.
Animation is for kids, though.
Oh my gosh.
Don't-
Okay,
no.
but also...
Animation
but
is for
also-
kids, not for anyone else.
Let me
Don't you understand?
give a point that could potentially be controversial. Minecraft is also for kids, okay? Not saying it's not also for adults,
But Jackson,
but it's for kids.
No. You don't understand. Let me step in.
Yeah,
Let me step into big businessman mode here for a second.
Yeah.
You don't understand.
Real quick.
Minecraft is
Hit me
for
with it.
kids, and you're right. Animation is for kids, but kids don't have any money to go see movies. So if an animated movie comes out, we have to entice the parents, and parents just don't like animated stuff. Clearly. No adult has ever liked animation ever. So we're gonna make this live action, and we're gonna have people say "What the hell," so that we can bring in the adults, and then those adults will bring in the kids, and then we make a lot of money. It's not about making a good, faithful adaptation of a video game. The highest selling video game of all time.
By a lot,
by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Not about that.
If I could also go into big businessman mode for a minute. If kids like animated movies so much, how come Pixar or Disney hasn't had a successful movie in a long time? Now, there is Inside Out 2. That doesn't count.
Oh,
we're not
you mean the
talk
new
about
highest
that.
grossing movie of all time? Or
Yeah,
animated
we're
movie
not
of all
gonna-
time?
we're not
Finally
gonna talk
beat
about
that
that.
fraud, The Lion King?
No one cares about Inside Out 2, all right? Highest grossing movie of all time or not. Who gives a crap? Because we really want the people, Jack Black, in a blue t-shirt on a green screen.
Not even a t-shirt, it's a cardigan.
Not even a t-shirt. It's a cardigan, you know? So that's what we're going to do, and it's going to make $1 billion. And honestly, there are a lot of people that have dedicated hours and hours of their lives to making high-quality Minecraft animations on YouTube for the community for over a decade. Well over a decade, honestly. I say screw them. Who needs them?
Frick
Truly,
that.
who needs them? Frick that. And
we as the
yeah.
corporate execs, we know everything about Minecraft. I've never played it. I've seen my son play it a couple times, but you know.
It's very square. Very square.
Lots of squares.
Personally, lots of
And
squares.
if you don't see this movie, let's make the tagline "Be there and be square." I'm gonna. I can't make that joke because it's September and that is Suicide
Right.
Prevention Month. Which is a problem.
That is a problem.
Your
That
life
is a
has
problem.
value.
Your life has
I
value.
want you to know that.
Find Jesus.
Anyway. Yeah, no, the Minecraft movie is dumb, and I hate every second of it. As a
Yeah.
Minecraft kid who grew up with Minecraft, you don't understand. This trailer makes me so irrationally angry.
Yeah.
Because I, too, have spent 10 years waiting for this Minecraft movie to come out. And this is what we get after
Yeah.
10 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is a poorly edited and put together green screen CGI compilation mess.
Have you ever seen the videos on YouTube that would circulate like forever ago, and it was like Minecraft in real life,
Yes.
and it was like weird like Blender 3D renders of Minecraft
And it was
blocks?
ugly.
That's what this movie looks like. That's what this movie exactly what this movie looks like. And I'm kind of like, this is kind of like the Madam Web thing where we were kind of like, legitimately, how did you miss this bad? How did you miss this bad? Like, imagine if there was a giant target like this far from my face and I had a dart in hand that I didn't even have to throw. What if I just had to like place it on the bullseye? But instead I took that dart and immediately threw it into my leg and killed myself. What? That's what this is happening. It was right there. They just needed to recruit. They didn't even need a freaking crew. There is like 1 billion people on the internet that make the highest quality Minecraft animations ever, right? And they just needed to call them up and be like, hey, we're going to help you. We're going to support you with more people. And we're going to give you bucos of money to make what people love. Minecraft animation, this and that. No. They decided that the best move was to throw a ton of celebrity names at a wall, at a green wall, and hope that it sticks. And it's not gonna.
Celebrity names, by the way, being Jason Momoa and Jack Black. I don't know anyone else in this movie. It's those
Jennifer
two
Coolidge
people.
is in this movie. Jennifer Coolidge is in this movie. Do you know who that is? She's the... You look like the 4th of July. Makes me want a hot dog real bad. She's funny. And then Steve Carell is in this movie somewhere.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He's on the IMDb. He's on the IMDb.
I thought they took him
somewhere.
out of the movie.
They may have, but he's still on the Google Cast and IMDb.
That's interesting because I remember this movie has changed ideas like 7 times over the last 10 years. Originally, it was supposed to be Steve Carell as Steve.
Right.
And going to the end to fight the Ender Dragon.
You know,
and the
like Minecraft.
And the big controversy back then was that the Ender Dragon was going to be voiced and talk, and everyone was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. The Ender Dragon's a dragon. And that was the big controversy.
That's stupid.
I would take that over this.
Yeah, for real.
I would take that over this. And here's the problem. If this was animated, you could keep the cast. You could have Jack Black be the voice cast. You could have Jason Momoa as a voice actor.
I'm not mad.
I don't have a problem with the cast. I just have a problem that it's live action.
Yeah.
For a game that you're going to have to CGI most of it anyway.
Yeah.
So just make it animated. And then everyone's happy.
This is kind of my biggest point is live action is not... I'm not mad about live action. That's not my problem. But I would not have a problem with it if it was genuinely live action. If there was a real set for this movie, or if it was on location somewhere, or this, like, that would be fine. I'm not mad about that. People have done that on YouTube for years and it's worked. There's ways that it can work. It's this faux live action thing where we're like, oh, it's a live action movie, but 98% of it is computer generated. So like you said, just make it animated. Like, why do you have to do the same amount of work, arguably more, to make it look 1,000 times worse? Makes no sense. Which is interesting because the director, Jared Hess, is a great director. He made Napoleon Dynamite. He made Nacho Libre, which is so wild. So he's worked with Jack Black before.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can see exactly how Jack Black made it in this movie as the lead.
Yeah. And so I'm kind of like, Jared, are you about to miss like so hard?
Looks like it.
And so here's my gripe is I'm not mad about the cast. I'm mad that they were lazily thrown into this movie with no immersion. And I'm working on a YouTube video about this right now that'll be out soon. So this is just a little sneak peek. Essentially, Jack Black could be Steve, but it's just Jack Black in a blue shirt. And there's no
be a guy named Steve from the real world who got stuck there, like the hit movie Jumanji from all long ago. And there's no originality here, and it's just rehashing the same plot.
Here's my thing. Look at a movie like Barbie. Barbie is a great example of how a live action movie in a mystical world can work. I don't live in a Barbie world. I'm not a Barbie girl. I have not seen, that world is not real. It's fabricated. But they dressed it so well and presented it in a way. It had a narrator and it was played for comedy in the way that you are establishing the audience's position with this world. So like, I am a third-person observer of the Barbie world. That was their intention with the movie because it has a narrator. I'm watching a story, right? So they're not trying to immerse me in Barbie world. They're saying, hey, here's a top-down view of Barbie world. And I look at Ken in that movie, and I'm not saying that's Ryan Gosling. I'm like, that's Ken, because they changed his hair. They gave him a different dialect. His wardrobe is like wild. He becomes the character, and that's a director's decision, by the way. That's not an actor's fault. This isn't Jack Black saying, oh, I just want to be me. And they're saying, whatever you say, Mr. Black. No, this is a director's job is to direct the cast and crew in the right direction. And so the fact that there was not any thought put into the immersion of Minecraft, which this is why video game movies don't, as a concept, don't work, because the point of a video game is to be fully immersed in this world where you have control. So when you are removed into that third person where you have no control over the world, it's boring. It's like you're watching someone else play. Now, here's where I'm going to take a turn. I think the Minecraft movie genuinely has potential. It genuinely could be good. Hear me out. Why can't we make a good Tomb Raider movie? Because the story is the player experience. Why was the Mario movie good? Because they weren't trying to make a movie of the player experience. Minecraft, it looks like their story is going to be the player experience, and that's bad. Because the point of Minecraft is you're gathering resources, you're learning how to craft, you're mining, you're going through this. And there's so many story versions of Minecraft that could be used to be adapted to this. There's Minecraft story mode, there's Minecraft dungeons. There's so much there that they just will probably discard, and I hate that. But Minecraft has built its entire community around Let's Play. We are very used to watching other people play Minecraft. So, if the story is handled correctly, it could feel very natural for audiences to be in that third-person view of the player experience. And we're just going to watch it like a Let's Play, and it's going to be good, and it could be funny. It could have like a Jumanji-type vibe. And my concern is, I think it's going to be absurd. It looks like a surrealist piece of weird art. And if they fully lean into that, it could be so chaotic and funny and genuinely sell really well. I'm scared that Warner Brothers doesn't have the guts to do it. But also, Warner Brothers had the guts to make Barbie, which was a surrealist, chaotic mess. But it was funny. Like, it was genuinely hilarious because it was so bizarre. And Minecraft could do the same thing, and this director is known for doing that. Napoleon Dynamite is kind of a surrealist, weird comedy. Nacho Libre is kind of like, they commit so hard to the bit that you can't help but care. And so, that in mind, I'm not giving up on the Minecraft movie yet. I'm still genuinely very interested and curious to see where it goes. And I want another trailer, because this is all literally just based on the teaser trailer. But that's my soapbox for today. The Minecraft movie has hope. Don't give up. I think we could do it.
All right, you can take that stance. I'm giving up. Because here's the thing. You're so right. I really appreciated what you had to say about Barbie and how we make video game adaptations. And that is why I'm still really skeptical on like the Zelda movie. Because the thing with Zelda is that player experience of going through the story. So how do you kind of adapt that. And I think they figured it out with the Mario movie of like, well, we can take the story and kind of go through the story beats without making you feel like you're watching someone else play it. And that's why video game adaptations are hard, because video games are an interactive media and movies are not. Yeah. So, but then you also look at something like Sonic, which isn't trying to adapt any specific game at all. It's just taking that franchise and making a movie out of it with its own characters, its own storyline, its own continuity, and that's why it works. And that's another thing that helped the Mario movie. And I'm not against live-action video game movies. I thought the FNAF movie was really good. And that's a live-action video game movie. But the problem with Minecraft is it's like... Which, I'm gonna loop back around to this because it'll segue into our larger topic at hand, is there was an article put out by, I think it was Kotaku, I might be wrong there, where they said, because there was a lot of backlash from people like us who grew up with Minecraft, who are older now, and even like older adults, and the headline of the article was, "This movie is not for you. This movie is not for 40-year-old men. This is for 6-year-olds." And I'm like, that's not a valid reason to dismiss my criticism.
No.
I'm telling you this looks bad, and it's going to be a bad movie if it continues on the path it's on. And everyone's like, well, maybe we can ugly Sonic this, and like they'll fix the sheep. And I'm like, dude, the movie comes out in 7 months. And in order to do that, they would have to fix every single asset. With Sonic, that's like, okay, it was one. Like it was one asset that they had to change.
Yeah.
That makes sense. This is like the whole movie. So none of that is changing. So we are stuck with this. And some of it I don't think looks too bad. I think the llama looks okay. I think the creeper looks great. The wolf looks fine. Like, I don't love how the piglins look, but
you know,
they also just look creepy. And that makes sense.
I hate the emphasis on piglins just in Minecraft in general. Like, we've decided that piglins are like the end-all be-all mob, and they're not. Piglins suck.
And they're like the main villain, and I'm like, yeah, you guys stole that from the Captain Sparkles music video storyline. Because that's like... But if you actually go to the end, they're perfectly fine as long as you got gold boots on. Like, are they going to bring that into the movie where one of the characters puts on a gold chest plate and they're completely fine? Like, I don't know. This movie's just hard. It's hard for me because there was a way to make everyone happy. Like, your target audience for this movie should not just be 6-year-olds, right? Because there are 6-year-olds who play Minecraft. There's 5-year-olds who play. There's newborns who play Minecraft. Let's be real.
Right.
They come out of the womb with the iPad in their hand. They're playing Minecraft.
Right.
And like, you can have that as a target demographic, but let's also remember that there is parents, older siblings, grandparents, aunts and uncles, like older friends who need to be convinced to come see this movie with those 6-year-olds. So if it's not appealing, or it looks like just the generic slop that's out in the theater now, no one's going to want to go see that. So if you really wanted to, you could make an animated Minecraft movie, because much to your point, we grew up watching Let's Plays of Minecraft, but we also grew up watching Minecraft animations. There were animations, music videos, the whole shebang. We grew up with that. So I'd be perfectly content with going to the theater and seeing a Minecraft movie that's animated, because that's what I'm used to. And that's how you can really flesh out this creative environment of Minecraft without beholding yourself to the live action standard. Now, all of that to underscore, we are still getting an animated Minecraft series from Netflix. And I don't want people to forget about that. So even if the movie sucks, there is still hope that Minecraft can do something, or Netflix, I'm sorry, can do something with this Minecraft series. Now, do you have anything to add to that before we transition into the next point?
No. I'll have a whole YouTube thing about it. So if you like this point, go to the Glass Studios and you can watch. I will have a whole video about it later.
Let me find the tweet I posted about it when I was talking about. I need to get on my phone. I can't search Twitter on the desktop, which is really stupid. I would look up Minecraft.
My favorite thing was like when this movie was announced. My favorite tweet of all time is when this movie was announced, and it said, Napoleon Dynamite director Jared Hess teams up with Jason Momoa to work on live-action Minecraft adaptation. And it was like, I could not have predicted the next word of that sentence with a gun to my head. That is one of the most randomly generated sentences of all time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh.
Why can I not find this tweet? I don't remember what I said. Because I'm trying to... I want to actually quote... Oh, I think I said... Critique?
Oh.
Nope. Did I say criticize?
Nope.
I remember. Because this is a problem with... Oh, here we go. Okay. So from Kotaku on September 5th, 2024. Sorry, the Minecraft movie isn't meant to be for you. So then I quote retweeted it and said, criticize movie. Critics defend saying it's not for you. We don't see the movie. Movie flops.
Yeah.
Because this is what...
Who is it for then?
Do you know what? Here's what we missed in the last episode is The Acolyte got canceled. It's not getting a season 2 because nobody watched it. Do you know why? Because the rabid fan base,
air quote,
who was not in it for the Star Wars-ness of it, told all of the Star Wars fans that you're racist, homophobic, blah, 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 whatever, don't watch it. And they said, okay, fine, we won't watch it. And then it got canceled for having the lowest viewership out of any Star Wars project.
And didn't it have like $1 billion budget?
It
or
did.
Something like something.
It's like
bonkers.
the most expensive Star Wars thing they've done. It was like $280 million an episode, and there's 8 of them.
And for why? Where did that go?
Where does that money go? You cannot convince me that Disney Plus shows are not money laundering. There's no way.
They low key. I feel like in the next 10 years we're gonna like see some explosion of like Disney Plus money laundering thing. Like this is a deep conspiracy.
I'm sorry.
Dude.
It was $180 million for a series with 8 30-minute long episodes. Whew. But still, that's a lot of money.
That's wild. And it's kind of like, and this is kind of transitioning into our next point of like, what happened? Like, we're in this really weird limbo space where families that want to go to the theater together don't have a lot of options. Good options, I will say. Because either you're going to go see Despicable Me 4 or you're going to go see Deadpool.
Right.
Like, those are your options.
And there's nothing in between.
There's nothing in between. And I think, like, looking... Now, I will say this with an asterisk because we're only, like, not even 4 years into the 2020s. But if you look at some of the most popular family movies of the 2010s... You have movies like Into the Spider-Verse. You have Inside Out. You had Coco. You had How to Train Your Dragon was 2010. You have the Lego movie, Moana, Wreck-It Ralph, Zootopia, Big Hero 6, The Muppets, like the Lego Batman movie. Like, these were baller movies. Like, some of the best we've ever seen from many different studios. And then, now... asterisk because we're only 4 years into 2020, so like something can change. But if you look at the newest like family movies of the 2020s, you have Soul, which was straight to streaming. You have The Mitchells versus the Machines, which was straight to streaming. You have Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which was very good. That was probably the latest family movie that brought in a wide audience. You have Encanto, straight to streaming.
No, Encanto went to theaters first. It just blew up on Disney+.
Oh, you're right. Blew up on streaming. Gave them the wrong idea. Onward crashed in theaters because of COVID. Inside Out 2. Listen, newest, highest grossing thing, but honestly,
finally
like,
beat that fraud.
For real.
Yeah.
Inside Out 2 was good, but I'm not going to say that it's like one of the best animated movies ever made. The Super Mario Bros. Movie, which was fine. Elemental, flop. And so it's kind of like, you know, you have The Bad Guys, which was a DreamWorks movie.
That was pretty good.
Sing 2 did really well, but that movie's not very good. Ron's Gone Wrong did okay, but it was like small.
I was very small. I remember seeing that movie and no one talked about it ever.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like, we're just kind of asking like what happened? Like we used to be a proper nation. we used to
be a proper film industry.
I was talking to my mom a few weeks ago and she was like, honestly, like summertime, even when I was a kid, this was like not even like 12-ish years ago. Summertime was, you would go see a different movie every week.
Yeah. We were always in the theater in the summer.
Right. Because you would go see whatever Pixar was doing. Disney had a new movie. DreamWorks had a movie. Like, this was kind of before Illumination was like a huge deal, but like Blue Sky would put out a new movie. And it's kind of like, but it's not just that. They were all very good. And it was like, my mom, she was even talking about, she was like, I never had to look up movies when you were a kid. She was like, we would just blindly go to the theater, and she would bring me and my sister, and we would just walk in and watch the movie. No one was concerned about any content or whatever was in it. You would just walk into the theater, you'd buy a ticket there, you'd spend like $10 on popcorn, because movie theater prices were bad, but they weren't nearly as bad as they are now.
Right, like it was expensive to go to the movies, but it wasn't $17 a person.
Right. So like, you know, even like, you know, when I think about, this Minecraft lo-fi thing I had playing randomly had like a voiceover in it.
Yeah, I had to restart it because I hit the voiceover and it was really throwing me off.
Yeah, that was I couldn't talk. I was like, what the heck? I can't talk because they're like just talking in my ears. So it's kind of like there's a couple of things to point to. You could point to streaming but I think streaming and economy are two things that like you can kind of pair together, because it's like, well, why aren't families going to the theaters? Well, you haven't put out a movie that is worth $17 a head, and if you have 4 kids, you know, say with tax you're paying $20 a ticket, that's 20, 40, 60, 80
just for your kids.
So if it's a mom and 4 kids going to, you know, because the people going to the theater, those families are moms that are bringing their 2 to 4 kids at 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Or like 11 a.m. So now you're paying $100, not even including like if you want snacks or anything, which is honestly like genuinely part of the movie theater experience that I had growing up. And I love like movie theater snacks. That's a big part of the experience for me. Now you're paying $100 on tickets alone to see Illumination's Migration. Get the heck out of here. There's the door, because that's ridiculous. That's not worth it. And that's partially a movie theater and a COVID and a like economy problem, but also their movies aren't worth it. And that's why it's more profitable for these people to throw these family movies on streaming. That's why Encanto blew up, because it was available in every home. And, you know, if you have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old that can't sit still, why would you pay $40 to bring them to a movie you're going to have to, like, wrangle them the entire time?
Right.
So it's like, there's this weird thing. And that's what's so dumb about things like the Minecraft movie, where they're like, this is for 6-year-olds. 6-year-olds can't sit in the theater. So, like, we're pushing these, like, really, really, like, younger audience movies to theaters, and they can't go. They don't want to go. They want to watch it at home, and parents want to watch it at home with their kids because it's easier, and it's cheaper, and it's more, and it's just not as stressful. And so we're in this really weird limbo where, since that's what's happening, we realized we can just pump and dump whatever we can to streaming, and families will watch it.
Yep.
And it just sucks. It truly sucks.
And like, something to add to that is, yes, theaters are expensive, and everyone says the joke like it's like in this economy, like legitimately in this economy. No. When it's costing me upwards of $40 to fill up my gas tank, if I have to choose between filling my tank and taking my 2 kids to the theater, I'm going to fill up my tank because I need that to get to work or the store or any other way to make money. So that's a problem. But I think a bigger issue, because it is really easy to point fingers at, oh, well, the economy is too expensive, or, oh, let's just throw stuff to streaming and da-da-da-da-da. Like, it's really easy to point fingers there. But we can't say that it's always about the money, because you see something like Inside Out 2 that has now crossed $1 billion. The Mario movie last year that crossed $1 billion. Sonic 2 that did really good 2 years ago. The Bad Guys that did really good. All of these other things. And I'm not even bringing in anime to this one, because I'm sticking to Western for this one.
Right.
Because I don't. It's such a different. It's so different if you start bringing in the Eastern stuff. But like all of these movies that are doing really well, so you have to ask, okay. And the Mario movie only got there because kids kept going back 2, 3, 4 times. So what is making these parents want to take their kids back to the theater a second, third, fourth time to see this movie again? Because it was a good movie.
Yeah.
When did we stop making movies that were entertaining for adults? Because if you look back at the old Disney catalog, anything I'd say pre-2015 is like, I'll say for this example, I'll say early 2000s and back. Right? Your early Pixar movies, your classic Disney movies, right? Why were those movies so good? Why were they a classic? Something like Emperor's New Groove. Why is that such a cult classic? Because it was a good movie for adults and for the kids that were there. Because if you think about it, parents, yes, will take their kids to see the movie, even if they themselves think it's a dumb movie and they'd like, oh, this premise is really stupid, whatever, but I'll take my kid because my kid's really excited to go see it. Why does that parent not deserve to also be entertained?
Right.
Like, my mom went and saw a handful of dumb movies with me, right? But at the end of the day, half of those ended up entertaining her just as much as they entertained me.
Right.
So you see something like the Mario movie, which, granted, Mario as a franchise would draw in a lot of parents, because, like, we were driving in the theater and my mom was like, I remember playing the original Mario game on the NES, and now I'm here with my 2 kids going to see the Mario movie, and like, you guys are super excited about that, and I remember playing the original, and like, that's such a big deal. But let's think about like early Pixar, right? Toy Story, great movie for kids, really entertaining for adults. Shrek, not a Disney movie, but really entertaining for
literally
kids.
Won an Oscar.
Really great for adults.
Yeah.
So it's like,
there's a spectrum.
you have to be able to hit both of those audiences, and your movie just has to be good. I think we've reached a point where, how do I want to phrase this? Because it's like, I'm really trying to think how I want to phrase this without making it sound awful. Is Hollywood we're in a completely different generation of Hollywood. I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
The old generation understood the power of storytelling and understood all the different mediums to tell that story. That's why animated movies were elevated so high back then. Because it's like, yes, it's animated, but this can still be an incredible movie. Like Prince of Egypt. That's an incredible movie. But it's animated. But it's an incredible movie that tells an incredible story very well. And nowadays we're on like Minions 4.
Right.
So what happened? I'm not saying the Minions movies are kind of good, but for the sake of the argument,
good, but there's 4 of them.
We're on Despicable Me 4, right?
Yeah.
What happened? What's the shift there? And I watched a really good video that talked about how if you treat Hollywood as this like culture, right? You now have, you establish an old culture, and now that the newer generation is coming in, we're getting to the point where they don't understand how we got to this point. And they're echoing and copying what they see, but without the understanding of why we do it. And you're getting all of these really narratively bankrupt movies that don't value anything. And there's this, I mean, if you want to like blow it up and make it like a macro problem,
right?
It's all about like moral decay, and we don't value good stories anymore. No one watches anything.
We're all nihilism,
right? It's all nihilism, and everything's gay, and like I saw someone just to try to justify this week that the scene at the end of Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, where Sam is like holding Frodo and like, cause like he's gonna die, and they're like, well, we made it to the end of this journey. They're like, there ain't no platonic explanation for that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is that's the culmination of these two really close friends' entire journey across the world. And one of them is probably going to die. This is like a story of friendship and brotherhood, and that's the whole purpose of Lord of the Rings. And those
men really can't have hobbies.
And those are the people who are writing the movies that we're watching, is the people who think like that. And when you lose the capacity to understand the important things in life, you then make morally and narratively bankrupt stories that aren't entertaining for anyone, even the 6-year-olds who are the target audience.
Well, you even have to think about like this is a touchy we're trying to like be as kind as possible because this is a touchy subject. You have to think about why you go see a movie, and the majority of people are not gonna go see a movie because they want to support the cause, you know. So if I take my family to go see Lightyear, am I going to go see Lightyear because I want to support gay rights? No. I'm taking my family to see Lightyear because I love Toy Story.
Right.
But when you make it about that, you're immediately turning off your audience to this and going, oh, I just wanted to see Toy Story. Like, even people that are like, you know, however you feel about that, like, that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to take a stance. I'm trying to say that's not what we're here for.
Right.
Even people that are pro or anti whatever, wherever you stand, you probably don't care. You probably don't just want that in your family movies, because that's not the point. That's not why we're here. And the fact that we have to, like, you know, common sense media guide every single movie we take our children to see is a cultural problem. And it's, like you said, like, you have to look at Hollywood as a culture. And it's not, you know, it's not like James Hollywood is sitting on his throne pressing the woke button. Like, no, this is a cultural thing that is happening and is changing. And it's honestly just like part of the cycle of Hollywood, because there's a lot of, we're pointing back to a lot of what the olden days of Hollywood were, where it was like you had your 4 major studios and they made everything, and any smaller studio that tried got bought out. And that's the way it was. And then there were monopoly laws put in place for that. And then we kind of like got a little loosey-goosey on the monopoly laws, and now we are back to like 5 major studios that are absorbing everything else. And so we've seen a rise of independent media from this, but they can't reach the level that these other studios are reaching. So I actually did this graph in a class like last week, was the number of theater releases from the 6 major studios has taken a sharp decline since 2020, and the number of independent theater releases has shot up since 2020. They're like going down. But what that graph is not showing is genuinely there has not been a movie in like the top. There's been like in the last 15 years, like maybe 1 or 2 years where one of the 10 highest grossing movies was independent. And so it's kind of like these big companies have the voice. And so since they have the voice, they're in their Hollywood bubble. And they're so big that they're in their little Hollywood bubble where they're like, well, we believe this. And so our entire audience must believe this. And so it's kind of like this weird thing where like parents that wherever they stand on these issues, they're just kind of like, hey, you're not the one that I want my kids to hear this from. Like, that's my right as a parent to tell my kids these things. And some people would disagree with that and say that's indoctrination. I would argue that it's indoctrination to put that in our children's media.
Right.
Fascinating. It's almost like that's the definition of grooming.
It's almost like we should let parents be parents, and the movies should just be movies. Like,
what?
That's another thing, and we've talked about this at length on this podcast before, on how movies used to be just about entertaining you. And it used to just be about, hey, let's go see this Disney movie about an alien who gets dropped in the middle of Hawaii, and it's got this really great message about family and how your family isn't always who you're blood related to,
right,
and like all this great stuff. Like, that's really good. Let's go watch this movie about these cars and this guy who's got a really big pride issue and like how he's going to get over that and learn to work with his friends. Like, that's what movies used to be about, was promoting good moral messaging that's like, hey, if this is you, or if you see this in your life, here's how this character overcame it. And you can too. Like, movies, if they had any kind of agenda, I would argue it was for the betterment of society through these stories. And like, storytelling is such a powerful way to get a message across. Even if you think about, and I just talked about this in a video, I don't remember if this video is out or not yet. I genuinely don't remember what video it's in. But if you think about it, even Jesus spoke in parables, which parables are just stories. It was an easier way. It was taking a truth, repackaging it in a more easily understandable way, and distributing it to the audience. That's all a movie is breaking down this idea, repackaging it for the audience, and giving it to them and hoping that they understand that. And if they don't, well, then you might have to repackage it a little bit more simply. I sure hope you don't, though, because movies can already be pretty simple as is.
Right.
So the fact that we just don't do that anymore, it's not about entertaining. It's about how many checkboxes can we hit? How many of this can we put in? And I think there's a... Now I just say it. I think there's a pride issue in the Hollywood group because they think they're the majority, right? Like the people who were saying The Acolyte's not for you, don't watch it. They genuinely think they are the majority. So then when they tell the majority to not watch
don't watch it,
it doesn't do good. And they now realize, oh no, we're not the majority here.
Yeah.
You are very loud and you yap a lot about a lot of dumb things that don't matter. I don't care where you stand. I want a good TV show. I don't care if you're pro. I don't care if you're anti. I just want to watch a good movie and be entertained. I watch movies to escape reality, not be reminded about how annoying these people are.
Yeah.
Is why I watch anime so much, is because anime at this point is the only kind of media that has any form of escapism.
Yeah.
That is like, hey, let's promote good moral messaging. We got this great story about the power of friendship and how you can work with your friends and you shouldn't try to do things by yourself. And all of this stuff. And it's not like trying to push an agenda or anything. It's just trying to be good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude.
Because that's the thing. This is the problem, is agenda. The idea of agenda is a problem. Wherever you stand, agenda is a problem. Because if you say, oh, I'm not going to watch Lightyear because it's so woke and so gay, I'm just going to watch The Daily Wire. Well, hold on.
Well, let's back up here.
Hold on.
They're not any better.
They're not any better because agenda is bad. And here's the problem. The problem is every piece of art has a meaning. And it's not bad that art has a meaning if it's a political message or, you know, a racial thing or, you know, what's the word that I'm thinking of? If it's like a gender thing, like there is nothing wrong with making a statement with your art. That is a personal expression of yourself that you should be able to create. That is not like, we're not trying to silence anybody. What I'm saying is families do not want the political commentary.
No.
Families are not your demographic for that. So stop putting it in the films. And I even think about like Despicable Me 4 was fine. Like it wasn't even close to the best Despicable Me movie. But it did pretty well.
It was
even
pretty
like
clean.
Rise of Gru, like it was clean and it wasn't, you know, trying to push anything, and it did really well. Inside Out 2 was one of the highest grossing movies of all time because it was really relatable and really honest and really creative and really genuine, and you could, you know, make a whole case for remake culture is ruining family movies. Remake culture is ruining freaking everything. Okay,
Remake culture is ruining movies. What do you like?
It's ruining everything. So just, that's not really super valid point here. And yes, I want my children to watch more than Minions 25. Like, that's fine. Also, hear me out. If you're a parent or like you want to have kids, all these things, you can decide what they're taking in. You have that ability. And I think there is something to say for this is we are currently raising a generation that will grow up with streaming. For like they are born into a streaming age, and that's scary. Because the streaming model doesn't work and it's ruining our mental health, and it's like we have so much choice. And so if you as a parent are concerned about these things, you can combat that. You can have a DVD shelf and say, hey, if you want to watch a movie, if you want to watch a show, these are your options. Growing up, we had a giant leather, like black case that just held 100 DVDs. And whenever I wanted to watch a movie, I would open the case, I'd zip open the case, and I'd open it, and I'd flip through to decide what I wanted to watch. Everything in there was pre-vetted by my parents. They did not buy a DVD that they knew would be inappropriate. You have no control over what goes on Disney Plus, especially now that there's a Hulu merger and you can watch serial killer documentaries on Disney freaking Plus.
I mean, you can watch a presidential debate on Disney Plus now.
You can watch the president, like...
That was crazy.
So, that was wild. So, Disney Plus isn't even safe anymore. So, this is kind of like, to flip this back into like, literally one of our like pillars of this show is physical media. Like... I don't know if you can see it, like this whole shelf right here in my room is all my DVDs. I own these because I want to own them. I control where they are, where they go. And honestly, like, and we've talked about this a lot, so I'm not going to hammer it to death, but like there's a responsibility to a DVD. You know, if I give my kid a copy of Finding Nemo and he doesn't take care of it, guess what? He can't watch it anymore because he didn't take care of it. He didn't he didn't take the proper time and etiquette to take it out and like carefully put it back in the sleeve or back in the box, and now it's screwed up and we can't watch it, and that's a consequence. And so It's like this idea that we can have whatever we want, whenever we want, however we want is bad, specifically for children. Because if you open Peacock,
it raises a really bad sense of entitlement too.
Yeah. Oh,
when
absolutely.
you can get anything on demand at your fingertips, because eventually you're conditioned to be like, well, I saw a video of a kid on Instagram who was freaking out because someone put a DVD in and it didn't just start. And there were previews. And the babysitter was like, hey, there's previews. Like, the movie's going to come on. That's what I'm skipping. I'm not skipping the movie.
Right.
And this kid was having a meltdown because the only thing I guess they'd experienced up until that point was Disney Plus, where you press play and it starts. So it's like, yeah, I totally agree with you on the whole physical media thing. And I think that's I think physical media and DVDs is going to like whip back around in the next 5 years when we're having kids, like our age group is having kids, because you cannot, like, we grew up with unbridled access to the internet, and we've seen how great that can be when it comes to like, oh, I need to look up this thing. I need like a real quick Google search on if train A leaves the station at this speed and train B is going this fast, who's going to get there first? Great for that. But we've also seen the very dark and horrific side of it too. And it's like, I don't want to subject my kids to that. No. And I don't have the time, man. I'm like juggling 10 different things. Worrying about what my kids are watching on Disney Plus is the last thing I need. So yeah, I'm going to get a Blu-ray player, hook that sucker up to a TV, and right underneath the TV have a little shelf that says, hey, you want to watch a movie? You can watch anything on this shelf. And I'll know anything on that shelf is okay for my kids to watch. And I can say, hey, when you get older, you can take from this shelf. When you get older, you can take from this shelf. And like, but for now, this shelf right here, and that'll be your Cars, Toy Story, Beauty and the Beast, Puss in Boots, the Mario movie, like Sonic.
That's the other thing is when you have that physicality, you get to decide what you want. Because most of the shows that I wasn't allowed to watch was just because my parents thought they were annoying and they didn't want to watch it with me.
It's so fair.
Which is so fair that they didn't want to watch hours of SpongeBob SquarePants. Like, no, you're right. That show's annoying. I love that show, but you can't watch hours of it. It's just not healthy. And also, like, so you get to decide what you get to put there, and it's just kind of like it also this was the point I was going to make. If you're a little techier out there and you don't like, you want the curation, but you feel like you don't want like the hassle or the space, or like if for whatever reason like you just can't do like a DVD shelf, that's fine. What my dad did when we were growing up is he built us a media server, and he took all of our DVDs and he ripped them onto his own media server, which is legal, by the way, because you own that DVD. He took the DVDs we owned, put them on a Plex server, and we had an app on our TV, and we could still like scroll through like it was streaming, but it was only the things that he intentionally put on there for us to watch.
Right.
And that requires a little more like tech help and like being a little techier, but it was safe. Like, you know? And it's just, I think this whole idea, and it's kind of like putting a little bow on this whole conversation, is it's like, well, why does this matter? Why do we care? Well, why are we talking about this? It's because the safety of our children is very important. And the media you watch and the shows you take in, the movies you take in, it affects you very deeply. And if you think it doesn't, like, please know that. And it's why, like, it's so damaging to watch only horrific, violent, like, or overtly sexual, like, all this stuff. It changes your brain, especially if you are very young, developing. From a psychological standpoint, from a medical standpoint, it's very important. And it's a conversation I don't think we have enough. And it's kind of like these big studios are making it hard to be a good parent in this way, in this specific topic. And it's a problem. And it didn't used to be a problem. And we kind of are like looking for solutions to fix it. So here's what I will say. Here is a list of some family movies coming out now that I think look really good. So I don't know if you have, I'm sure you've seen this trailer in theaters, whatever. The new DreamWorks movie, Wild Robot, early reviews are in for a 100 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Dang, I'm going to have to go see that.
The Wild Robot. Every time I see that trailer, I'm like, oh, this movie's going to make me cry. Like, I can tell it's one of those, like, hit DreamWorks, like, so, 100. Pharrell's Piece by Piece, his Lego biography, early reviews are at 93 out of 100. They're saying it's great. So, maybe you could go see that. Sonic 3 is coming out. No reviews for that yet. It looks really good. Like, genuinely looks great.
I heard the Transformers movie is going to be pretty good. The
is that the animated
Transformers
one?
1? Yeah.
Oh,
I want to
yeah.
go see that. I
Yeah,
love
that
Transformers.
looks
I think
great.
that's going to be good.
Paddington in Peru opens in January. Paddington movies are baller. Like, go see that. And I had to look this up. Apparently, there is a new, it looks like a French film called Flow. And it is a cat escapes a flood that destroyed the world on a boat filled with animals of other species. He must work together with these unlikely companions to survive their new environment. And apparently, it was nominated at like the Cannes Film Festival and won at like the Guadalajara International Film Festival. And there's this whole list of film festivals it won, and it also has a 100 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
It's called Flow. And so I don't expect that to go to theaters, but I kind of want to go see that. I'm like, that? And it looks gorgeous. So, and then the Minecraft movie, we'll see. We'll see how
Jury's still out on that one.
Jury's still out on that one. So
I mean, we have to do an episode on it either way.
Oh, absolutely.
We have
I will
to.
be
We
going
don't have a
opening
choice.
day. I have a group that like we're going opening day. Pixar's ELO is coming out later in 2025. I have no info on that. I don't know if it's going to be good.
I mean, Moana 2 also comes out this year, so that might be
Moana
good.
2.
Because the first one
might
was
be
good, but like the jury's still out on Disney movies now.
Right, for real. It's a case-by-case thing. Hit Pig comes out in November. I think that looks really good. Shrek 5 opens 2026. That's a little too far in advance. I guess Wicked opens in November, but I don't know if I consider that a family movie.
I've genuinely
So anyway,
considered re-getting the Regal Unlimited for the next like 3 months, because there's at least enough movies coming out that I could justify it. Because like Transformers. Let me just look at my Letterboxd, because I have my list of like movies I want to go see, and not all of them are on here. But you got Transformers, My Hero, Pharrell, Lord of the Rings, and Sonic.
Yeah.
And then there's another anime one, so that puts me at 6. And those are pretty spread out between October, November, December.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as I see 2 every month, then I'm good. But also, if I have the Regal Unlimited, I'd be more inclined to go see movies that aren't necessarily on that list, because it's basically free.
Right.
And I'm going to be out,
that makes sense.
$63? So it's not that big of a deal, and it's ultimately going to save me money when, movie tickets are $15 a person.
Yeah, for real. Dang.
Dude, that's
anyway
disgusting.
Do you have anything else to add to this before? Essentially, TLDR.
Buy physical media.
Buy physical media. What you watch matters. If you don't think it's going to be good for you or your family to go watch it, don't watch it. Sucks to suck. Studios.
Yeah, it is literally that easy.
Yeah. So, hey, unless you have anything else to add, I think we're at the end of our episode.
I got nothing,
here.
bro.
This
Get
is
me
a
outta here.
really, really wonderful conversation that I quite enjoyed. So thank you so much for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed this episode, what we do here, make sure you leave a 5-star review on wherever you're listening, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you are. Send it to a friend that you think would enjoy, because word of mouth really is the best way for us to grow. If you're not following us on Instagram or YouTube, you can do that at The Nerdiest Podcast. And then if that's not enough for you, you could join our monthly after show as a Spotify subscriber for a mere $4. Is it 4 or 3?
3.
I think it's 3. For a mere $3 a month, you could have an extra bonus episode of The Nerdiest Podcast, where we take turns sharing movies. And our next episode will be V for Vendetta. That's the movie we will be reviewing. Plus, you get access to the full back catalog of the after show. So, $3 a month, super, super cheap. We're really, really happy with all the people that are there. We really appreciate you guys, because you help us keep the lights on, because this is a fully independent show. If that's not enough for you, go to thenerdiestpodcast.com and buy our super exclusive merch there. You can buy it nowhere else, just on thenerdiestpodcast.com. We will see you in the next episode. Until then, bye.